Hey guys, welcome to another episode of All Bass Creations Effects, Tutorials, Demos, and Review. Today we're going to be going through the preset list I have available on Patreon for the ToneX series stuff. These same presets, these are pretty much the presets I directly took off of My ToneX One that I use on gigs and various things like that. And it also includes a custom IRs that I did with, one of the cabinets is a Fender Bassman Neo 115 with a tweeter, and I mic'd that up with an Audix D6, and then I ran that Audix D6 into the JHS Color Box V2. So that whole signal chain is what you were just listening to, right there. So the way I did these presets, personally, I didn't skimp out on the time and the effort. Hit that like button for me while you're here. But besides that, I didn't skimp out on the effort of making them sound good. So this is my bass flat. I have two different flat sounds for my bass, which is weird. Right? So you not only get that whole sound there, you also can turn the IR off and get the actual sound of an Ampeg BA series head, which is the preset I'm using right now. And then it's off to the side here. You can't see it on camera, but excuse me. So I paired that with that Fender Bassman 115 down there, Bassman Neo 115. The big boy cabinet down there. But even without it, these are brand new strings, by the way, so they're extremely bright. So let's deal with that. So that's just with my bass flat, but nice warm sound there. And that's exactly what a BA head sounds like running through that actual 115 cabinet, mic'd up with that mic. So, these give you a good, not just starting point, it gives you the exact place that I use mine at. So, which should make your life a lot easier. And that's, like I said, if I wanted to do any sound shaping, I can literally do it just from my bass. I don't actually have to do it from the software. But on the ToneX One pedals, you have the EQ available to you as well. So you'll have the EQ and you'll have access to the compressor, the noise gate, and reverb on there as well. So definitely should make your life a lot easier. So not only do you get the complete preset, I took the time to model the preamps separately. And these are, like I said, just some of my favorite preamps, like the Aguilar AG preamp that's you're hearing now. It's like one of my absolute favorites. Very, very nice sounding, transparent preamp. Nice, massive sound to it as well. But here's what it sounds like with just my bass. So that's just my bass. That's just my bass. Now we want to turn on the preamp. going to add the IR back in. So, you know, it gives you that Fender Bassman Neo 115 sound, along with the way the Onyx D6 colors it. You know, it's a nice big bold sound with it, and you know, running that through the JHS Color Box V2. So all that combined, you're actually getting, just for one preset, you're getting you're getting the Aguilar AG preamp. Then you're getting a Fender Bassman Neo 115. Then you're getting a Onyx D6 mic. And then you're getting that ran into a JHS Color Box. That's a pretty expensive just signal chain there. And pretty much these presets are going for $5 a piece, but they come in a pack. And the pack is available on the Patreon. If you want to check out any of these presets, also all these individual preamps that we'll be going through are available on the Patreon right now. All 11 different preamp packs that I use, or preamps rather. Everything from the Jingler Mellin preamp is on there. The Aguilar AG preamp is on there. Eden WTDI, Ampeg SGT-DI. What else we got? Markbass, Little Mark III is on there. That's a classic touring head a lot of people love. Big sound to that head. Then you got the Ampeg BA series head, you know. Then you got a Benz Shuttle 9, you know, nice tube preamp there. Then you got the TC Electronic BH500. So all these little things, you know. And you got what else? We got Harkey TX600 on there as well. So you got quite a few different heads, but all these different ones. And if you got the JHS Color Box as well, V2 Color Box. So these different things make a difference, and most of these are available on here. Oh, got the Laney Digbeth preamp on there too. So these are all could be. The thing I love about the ToneX series stuff is I can now have all of these different preamps on in one little small pedal. Let me see. So if you're looking at this at my pedal setup here, you barely can even see the ToneX One. I gotta literally point it out to you. It's so small. Hey, what's going on? Would you see? Yeah, and the Eden WTDI. I'm gonna go there for you real quick. Why? Since you interacting. Oh, feel free to comment and ask questions, guys. I'm down for it. If you have any questions about this, but all these presets and stuff, if you have a ToneX series pedals, or even if you just go and download the ToneX software on your computer, you can download these presets and import them into the ToneX series software. But you can the thing that's different with these preamps, I did everything separate. So I did the preamps separately at a highest quality. Then I created the IR separately. So I didn't just, for some reason when you do everything together, it's hard. It's hard for the AI software to tell the difference between the preamp sound and the cabinet sound. So sometimes when you take off the cabinet sound off of the ones you made with the complete rig, it doesn't sound the same as just the preamp by itself does. So that's something to look out for. Meaning, you can take these same presets, like I said, and you can just take the IR off if you want to run this straight to your power amp end of your head, or if you want to use this as like the ToneX series pedal as your preamp for a power amp. You can have all these different tones available to you, or preamps available to you in one head, which is crazy. That is because these are spot on. Like, that's the way that preamp sounds by itself. You know, granted, my strings are brand new, very bright, but very transparent. So it has a very nice high quality sound to you. As you can hear, that the Aguilar AG preamp has can have a very hi-fi sound to it, or it can have a very transparent sound to it. So, you know, if you're one of those people that really likes a nice, clean, transparent tone, the Aguilar AG preamp tone model one, you'll love that. So here's the, you know, with the bright and the deep switch on. Let me switch y'all back over to here. Let me just check and make sure we on the right screen. Yep, we are. Okay, so, and mind you, these sound even better coming off the pedal. Like when you have them on the pedal, because the pedal processes at 24-bit, 192 kilohertz, while the software tends to can do it better, but it's just like default, like 24-bit 44.1 kilohertz for the audio interface side of the ToneX, but it doesn't give you the same as the pedal. It gives you on the pedal, it sounds, all these presets sound even better, which is bananas. Let's see what we got here. Feel free to comment, like, and share, all that good stuff. Hit that like button. So let's hear a little bit of the slap version of the AG preamp with the Fender Bassman Neo 115 running through an Audix D6 mic into a JHS Color Box V2. And all these is all for one setting. It's crazy. All right, so let's hear a little bit of this. You can always just boost your mids if you want more clarity in that. But let's peel back this IR and let's go to just how my bass sounds without that on. We'll leave the compressor and the reverb on just to even it out a little bit. So as you can hear, it really gives you that cabinet sound, you know, nice warmer sound, while still giving you that 1073 style preamp saturation in there because of the Color Box V2. So very warm, even when it's an extremely bright, you know, situation. Like, let me just, this is my bass flat. So it's going to give you that nice slap sound just because it has that deep and bright switch on, compared to the first Aguilar setting, which is my just general setting. It doesn't have the deep and bright switch on. So you automatically got two nice Aguilar AG preamp sounds there that you can, like I said, easily just turn these cabinets off, put the ToneX in your effects loop of your bass head. Or, I mean, I wouldn't even put it in the effects loop. I would just run directly into it and into the ToneX pedal, and then put that in your power amp in. Run that out of the ToneX into, in my case, the ToneX One, into the power amp in of a bass head. And that way, wherever you go, you got all of your preamp sounds. So not only do I get to take my Aguilar AG preamp to a gig, I can then switch over to my Ampeg BA, you know what I'm saying, head, which I love. It's my favorite combo ever. Oh, let's see what we got. Yeah, actually, you know, the thing I love about the ToneX series stuff is you can actually model everything the in the actual signal chain. You know, like if you need some dirt on your pedals, you can model that into a whole preset, and you only as soon as you click that preset, all it's like you clicked on that and changed the amp and your speaker. It's like you went to your exact perfect dirty sound. You know, that's the thing I love about the ToneX series stuff. It's like it gets you right to the point. Make sure y'all hit that like button while you're here. Please hit that like button. I appreciate y'all hanging out with me. And again, all these presets are available on the Patreon. You go to the Patreon if you want to support the channel a little bit more as well. So, but all these are available on there. So now let's peel back some of these layers here. So let's just within this preset pack here. This is the Bass Negus preset pack for the ToneX software, ToneX One, and ToneX pedal. Right? You can find us on the Patreon. Again, this is a combination. This is exactly my list off of my ToneX One. The 20 presets I use on my ToneX One, and it includes 12 different preamps, and it also has 6 different IRs on here. Most of them are the same one for most of these settings. That's just because I like to have a cohesive sound. I don't want the sound engineers to have to deal with a completely different sound every single time I'm switching a patch. Like, in the keeping the cabinet the same, just changing the preamp sounds is all the change I pretty much need for my sound needs. But I do have different IRs in here, like instead of using the Audix D6, I use like a CAD D10 and this GXL 2200 condenser mic. Also have the Gallien-Kruger. I have one Gallien-Kruger Neo 115 IR in here as well. It's like a little bonus of the Audix D6 and the RE320, which is actually this mic right here. So, excuse me. But it definitely makes a difference. But let's not skip ahead of ourselves. We got quite a few presets to go through. It's 20 of these all together. I did promise somebody I would skip ahead to this Eden one real quick. So let me do that. Hold up. We do gotta go back. Well, no, I'll just go back after this, because I promised you I would do this before I did that. All right, here we go. Here's without it. With it. Here it is with the cabinet. So, you know, when you got options like that, you know, all in one preset, just turning the cabinet on and off allows you two different sounds. So, you know, technically each preset you can have multiple sounds just like that, as well as you can always, this is with full mix, you know, but you can always dial this mix back to dial in your dry sound as well. So you don't have to go full cabinet sound in there. But it's basically, see what we got here. Yep. So, oh, hit that like button wherever you are. Definitely appreciate all you guys. But you can mix in So you can mix that any way you would like. I prefer to just have that straight up cabinet sound, but that's just me. But I would like if IK Multimedia added a way where I can add like the preamp, I can mix the preamp sound and the IR sound together. That's what I would actually prefer, you know, because that's what I really like. I really love the way this preamp sounds by itself. You know, of course these strings are brand new, so super duper bright. But when you run stuff through a cabinet, it is like running it. It's a different sound than your straight preamp sound. And typically, it'll be that difference in sound that you're hearing there. So, all right, so that's the Eden. So let's hop back to this BA series so we can play the BA by itself. Let's hear what the bass is by itself. So this is just gonna be my bass flat. Hold on, let me see what we got here. Hey, how you doing over on Twitch? I appreciate y'all chiming in. I don't play no games. I do my Twitch on bass and the bass effects. That's what we do. All bass creations. Maybe I put my son on here and let him play some games with y'all. But yeah. So that's just my bass flat. Oh no, don't need that open. But here's with the preamp. And that's just with my bass with a nice flatter tone. That's just my bass, right? With the preamp. That BA head just has such a massive sound, and I will say the ToneX did a perfect job of capturing the it's like this harmonic distortion a little bit that you get with Ampeg stuff. But it just kind of adds that, it still gets that nice weighty compared to, you know, if you just ran it dry. So you get all these tones in your pack. Plus, you know, you're getting a Fender Bassman 115 Neo with an Audix D6 and a JHS Color Box V2 saturation on here as well. So I just want you to understand, like, just that Ampeg BA head BA amp I was 500. The cab, that was 850. The microphone, that's another 220. Then the JHS Color Box V2 is running like 450. So that whole expensive chain you're getting for $5. Each of these presets is $5 on the Patreon. It comes in a pack. You do got to get the whole pack, but technically each of these presets is $5. So when you really think about it like that, you're getting a very expensive, high quality, you know, copy of a tone there that's just straight up spot on. So very nice. That is a spot on to how that sounds in real life. You know, that is spot on, which is crazy. So, you know, all these, you don't have to do no shaping. You don't even have to have the best bass to even get these to sound good. I've literally have, so this is my bass. I did my bass flat already, so you know the difference between my direct sound and this sound added on, and then I did some EQing just for my bass. All the tone shifts you heard were done with the EQ on my bass. And I have a simple 3-band EQ on here, nothing crazy. I do have the ability to choose between my high mids and my low mid sound. So, you know, like if I push in this mid knob here, and I'm put the bass and the treble to flat. Mind you, these are brand new strings, so they're very bright. And I'll give you the sound with nothing on it. So, very nice, big, bright sound to that BA head, you know. One of my absolute favorites. So let's move on to the TC Electronic BH500 head, which is available, which isn't even, sold anymore. This is the original BH500. It's the big 30-pound head sitting back there. And I love it, to be honest with you. I would love to take that out the house a lot more, but it's a 30-pound head in today's world of 7, 8-pound, 5-pound heads. Like, really? Not really. Not going to happen. So I can now take that sound of that preamp with me wherever I go. I now, you know, let's get to it. And that's a nice sound. But here's with my bass by itself. So you can do additional tone shaping from the pedals as well. You can, if you need more mids, you can add more mids with the EQ. And all this is already set up, even the compressor. I didn't even have the compressor on there. So, very nice, warm sound to that T-Set Electronic BH500 head. And like I said, one of the reasons why I kept a lot of the IRs the same, this is one of my favorite IRs, so I love the way it sounds by itself. You can hear how it sounds. This is how it sounds by itself with the IR. So, getting multiple sounds with these presets, you can just use the IR by itself, and it sounds good if you got a really good sounding bass, you know. So, like I said, this is my bass by itself. Brand new string, so very bright. Here's the preamp by itself. that like button for me, by the way. Appreciate y'all hanging with me. Oh, if you want to leave a tip, Cash App, Super Chat, comment, like, share, subscribe. I'll be doing, you know, ambient afternoons where I do ambient music, and I do this where I do tutorials and all that good stuff. So subscribe, all that good stuff. So even that's my bass dry. So I literally did these presets so it automatically just makes your bass sound just fire. Like, you know, I didn't want you guys to have to do really hardly anything but just play. Like if you want to just turn the cabinet off and plug it straight into a preamp, into a power amp, or straight into the return end of a amp, you could do that. If you wanted to run straight to the house. And so that's the other thing to note. You can turn off the cabinets globally on the ToneX pedals. So if you wanted to use this as a preamp for your amp per se, say I wanted to use that Jens Bench Shuttle 9 head, I would return and go into the effects loop, the return in, I would go straight into the ToneX pedal, then straight into that return in of the effects loop rather. And some amps, it might say power amp in, but you need to turn off the cabinets on the ToneX pedal. Just like I'm turning off the IRs here, you can go in on the pedal and turn off the cabinets globally, and that'll turn off all the cabinets. That way, when you're switching preamps, all the cabinets will be off. But when you need them to run to the house, to the front of the house, you can have it doing that separately. In that case, and say you're not running directly, this is only running to the in ears or front of the house, then you have the cabinet running. So, of course, that's back when, in my opinion, TC Electronic was in their prime. They don't make this head anymore. And that's when all their heads sounded really beefy like that. Like, and here's my bass with it flat. I'm just going to turn my bass back flat. But this is... just a beefy setting. And I love how the IRs naturally, you know, because it's capturing the essence. So an impulse response, which is the IR I'm telling you guys about, is of a Fender Bassman Neo 115. The way that sounds in this room, running through the Audix D6 into the saturation of the JHS Color Box V2 into my particular EQ settings I have on there. So nice big beefy sound. And the real thing about it, all of these are just, they're all beefy like that. They all sound good. You know, the cabinet sound definitely makes it sound way more realistic, way more like how it sounds when you hear it through a cabinet. So that should help as well. And the thing I love about the ToneX stuff, it captures the gain staging of amps that are overdriven very well. So, for instance, with this setting, I can turn off this IR real quick. So you got different things on here you can do with the same presets. You can change the gain on them and push into the preamp a lot more and get you some overdriven sounds. Appreciate all y'all hanging out with me. Hit that like button for me. I appreciate all y'all on all the platforms, Instagram, Twitch, YouTube, Facebook. Appreciate all y'all hanging with me. So let's go. But yeah, so that's that setting, and that's with the tube drive setting on there, the original tube drive. Like I said, the original TC Electronic heads were amazing. You know, then they got bought out, so they don't hit the same now. They don't have that same weight to the sound like that. Nice. Sounds expensive. This is with the tube drive on 8, so around 3 o'clock if you had the dial all the way down, turn it on 3 o'clock. So almost all the way up. Mind you, you can always come and just mix in your dry signal if you wanted to. So plenty of tone options just with the one amp. If you wanted to bring that tube drive down, you didn't say you don't want it as overdriven. Easy. You just bring the gain back down. So you get all the overdriven sounds you would like without killing, the rest of the world. If you really wanted to push an amp and push the gain staging of it, they even took the time to model that and get that correct. They actually get it spot on. That's exactly what it would sound like if you ran this setup live. So that's amazing. So as you can see, we got quite a few more to get to. We got things like so let's just go through some of the preamps while we, give me a second to rest my hands for a sec, but also get you guys caught up on the different preamps. So you got the Aguilar AG, you got the Ampeg BA head, TC Electronic BH500, you got the Jingler Shuttle 9, you got the Jingler Mellin preamp on there, JHS Color Box V2, the Laney Digbeth bass preamp. You got the Markbass Little Mark III head on there, which is a classic head. A lot of these heads they don't even make anymore. They got the Ampeg SGT-DI. That's if you hip, you already know that's a $450 head by itself. Preamp by itself, pedal. But I think they dropped it down to about $400. Then you got the Harkey TX600, which has a tube preamp in there. So that's a nice head. And got this little special rig I put together, which is a Jingler Mellin running into a JHS Color Box V2 into an Empress compressor with just no compression, just the tone plus color on. So you get that setting as well, which we'll get to. But we're a little further up this list. So as you can see, you get a nice variety of heads and preamps to choose from. In addition, you get these cabinets that I've taken time to, sculpt and get to sound a particular way, get you guys in the game with that. But it definitely, oh, I don't know why that's coming through like that, but okay. But it definitely allows for you to get some very nice tones. Get that nice bass amp sound, because a lot of times when you're running just a preamp, and I love just preamp sounds, but you typically have to EQ your bass a little differently when it's just the preamp versus when it's the preamp and the cabinet, That's with the preamp on. Here's without it. With it, again is the Jingler Shuttle 9. And that's a tube preamp as well. So you're getting a tube preamp with the Jingler Shuttle, and there's another one on here that's an actual tube preamp, which is the the Harkey TX600 is a tube amp too. Tube preamp rather, not a tube amp, not for a tube preamp, just the preamp part. So that's primarily what we're capturing here anyway. So let's get it. So that's with the complete preset. You know, like I said, that complete signal chain would be Jens Bend Shuttle 9.0, which is a tube preamp running into a Fender Bassman 115, Bassman Neo 115, running into an Onyx D6 into a JHS Color Box V2. So that's that whole signal chain right there that you were listening to. And it gets nice and, you know, nice, warm. Sounds just like the cabinet does with that head running through it. So nice, warm, smooth sound to it. And like I said, you can always just turn this off and use this preamp. So, plenty of tone there. All right, moving on. You got the Jingler Mellin preamp. Another one of my favorite preamps. All these are my favorite preamps, but this one, let's go. So, again, very nice, warm sound. Very nice, warm sound there. And all you got to do is go right over to the Patreon, grab the Bass Negus preset pack for the ToneX series pedals and software, and that'll get you in the game. You know, sometimes it's hard to stuff like this for beginners is a little difficult, especially because you don't have the gear to model. Like, you always have the ToneNet there. You can download the free stuff, but a lot of it's not going to be as detailed as this, where just the IRs were done like very carefully. This ain't my first time doing the IR, so it's you got to have a room that's dialed in. You got to know how to proper mic placement. Then you got to know how to set up your actual preamp. You got to have the preamp, So just the IR alone signal path, you looking at over almost $1,500 just for the Fender Bassman Neo 115, the Onyx D6, and the Color Box V2. But then when you add in the Magellan, Jingler Mellin preamp, that's another, I believe that thing's what, about three. So, these presets get pricey just to do these presets and have the presets available. I did the preamp separate from the IRs. I created the IRs completely separately. And this IR is done at 24-bit, 192 kilohertz. So very high quality IR. That's why you get all that detail. You get all that detail in there. And you can just turn off the preamp and just use, say you have when you get this pack, the IRs will automatically be with the settings, but you'll have access to them through this list here if you have, I have a whole bunch of them. All these will be packs. I'll have 8 different IR packs coming out as well. So, but if you want to run analog preamps, like I have over here, like if you actually have a Magellan or something already and you want to use the IRs with it, that's also another option as well. You just turn off the preamp, and here's what just my bass sounds like with the preamp. Here's what my bass sounds like with just the IR. Rather. So that's with just the IR on, even with just the IR on, it sounds good. Here's without it. Sounds exactly how it would sound coming through an amp, right? But then when you add the preamp in there, it just takes the whole sound to the next level. So moving on. Got the Jingler GK slap. So this is the Magellan preamp with the Gallien-Kruger Neo 115 running into an Audix D6 on the speaker, and a RE320, which is actually this mic I'm talking on now, running on the tweeter. So I mic'd up the tweeter and the speaker for this one. So, great sounding unit altogether, you know, with that GK cabinet. And the other great thing about it is you can mix and match the different preamps that are that you have on here. You can easily, well, you can't do it from here, from this screen, but if you click on tone models, all these will be in your tone model settings, right? So you can literally go and change the preamps to whatever you would like, and I have mine under this. So say I wanted that let's see, we got I can take from this preamp, really I can switch it to any of these. Even if I got something off the ToneNet and I wanted to use like this Noble. Or if I wanted to use one of these distortion. This other thing I love about ToneX stuff is just you got so many options with it. If I wanted to use the Laney Digbeth. And the latency is only because I'm recording. I can get my latency way lower than that on here. So I can literally just switch any preamp to run with the cabinets or whatever it is I want once you have the preamp pack. So next up is the JHS Color Box V2. And I would use this if you already have a preamp pedal that you really like and you want to run that in conjunction with the ToneX One or something, or ToneX pedal. I would use this setting here. This is the setting I use when I'm using an analog preamp run or something like that running into the ToneX. So I run that into this JHS Color Box setting and that into the cabinet, the IR. So it's a very subtle preamp, just a lot of, mostly just some saturation, but little peaks where you would need it in your EQ that are not opposite, but complement. If your bass already has a active EQ like my own, you can literally you can do your regular bass boost and whatever you're gonna do on your bass and run that straight into there and get a nice sound. Just a little bit of clarity on there. Little extra, clarity and little extra bottom with that preamp on there. So, and that is definitely gets easily complemented. Let me see. Do a quick example. So I'm gonna run it through. Let's see. Okay. So I'm gonna run the. Where we at? Oh. Right, but I'm gonna run it through. Let's say I'm gonna run it through this Jingler. And then I'm gonna run it into. So it's going Jingler, then the JHS Color Box, on here. So here's what the Jingler Mellin preamp sounds like in the actual analog version. So as you can see, it's a very subtle, but it's just gonna help your sound cut through just that little bit more. You know, when you know what I'm saying, even before you get to the sound engineer, and it's gonna give you that little bit of cream and saturation from the JHS Color Box V2, and it's giving you that double when you have the IR on. So it's giving you that. It's like having two color boxes and having them run one after your preamp and then running one after your entire signal chain. So it's like you're getting like double saturation from the 1073 style preamp, you know. So, you know, just gives you a nice sound set to work with if you wanted to use like a preamp and have that color box sound on there, like that additional saturation. You can do it that way too. So I left a setting on there for that I use. That's, like I said, I just pulled this exact list off of my ToneX One. And these are sounds that I've crafted over the last few months of having the ToneX. I'm started using the ToneX about 3-4 months ago, the software, but I've been using Amplitude for years, you know. But these ToneX series, and it works with the Amplitude. So this is another little thing. If you're just getting in the market for multi effects pedal, I would say the ToneX One is definitely an option at this point. Not only do you get the ToneX One, you get this software, and you get Amplitude 5, and you can use ToneX stuff within Amplitude 5, and if you have recording software or DAW, digital audio workstation, like Logic or Pro Tools, you get to use all these sounds as plugins. So meaning you can record your bass directly to the computer, and you're still going to have access to all these sounds, like all these different preamps and the IRs and everything. So that is a huge plus of joining the ToneX software family, I guess. You know, IK Multimedia, whatever. You know, you get 2 pieces of software plus the pedal. You know. All right, so let's move on to this Laney Digbeth. And I am running in straight into a X-Tone Pro by Xsonic, which has foot switches and stuff on it. So if you're using this ToneX stuff in the Amplitude software, say you want to use it live with your laptop, you want to use your laptop as your rig, you can literally take your laptop or iPad, whatever, and take this, or iPhone. You can even do this with an iPhone. Take an X-Tone Pro or a regular X-Tone, depending on how many if you need all these switches. And this one has 6 switches. Hold on, let me see. Switch here. You guys can see what I'm talking about. This pedal here has, you can assign these foot switches to different things. Plus you get a mic input and all the extra stuff, expression input. So if you wanted to say assign the expression pedal to the gain, you can do that as well. So there's a lot of little options once you take the ToneX stuff and you get into Amplitude 5. It's a ton of stuff you could do. But all right, Laney Digbeth. So you get access, like, again, you ever want to run these, if you want to run these as, you know, your ToneX pedal as your preamp for your amp, that's, I love it. That's what I do. So if I'm not running this pedal into the house and I'm running it into, you know, I guess running in, say I got my little Mark III with me, I'm gonna run straight into the return of the effects loop or the power amp in on the amps, and I would then have access to all these 12 different preamp sounds. You know, get access to all of them, and I don't have to go in each preset and turn off the cabinet like I'm doing here. I'm only doing this for example, so so to show you guys, the different sounds. But if I was doing this live, I would just go and you hold down the gain button for 6 to 8 seconds, and then it goes into like a global menu type mode, and the mid knob, you change that to red, and that turns off all the cabinets globally. If you want to turn them back on, you turn the switch to green, and that's green is to the left, red is to the right. So there's just a little tip for you. But again, this is the Laney Digbeth, but it also included the tube side of it. So let's push the gain, bring the master volume down. And if I want more of just the tube saturation and not so much overdriven, I just bring the gain down, bring the master volume up. So, the IR just gives you that cabinet feel in a room. And the reason why I included just a little smidge of reverb on all of these is just that if you're listening to these in-ear monitors, or even if you run these to the house, it helps the sound, to bring out a little bit more of the room sound in the IR, just a smidge. I only got about 5%, 3 to 5% on there. But just a smidge, and it gives the IR just a little bit more room to sound like a cabinet in a room. And the Laney Digbeth, of course, I have the tube and the FET on that one, side of both of those. So, all right, we getting there, folks. We're gonna have to move this along. But we got the Markbass Little Mark III. And, you know, all these available on the Patreon. Got to go to Patreon if you want to support the channel more. You can find all these presets, this preset pack, the Bass Negus preset pack for the ToneX on the Patreon. You can also find the 11 different preamp packs I have available. So all these different preamps, I have more settings for them, and more, you know, they just are in the preamp packs, 11 different ones. So the Magellan has a pack, the Harkey TX600 is a pack, and so forth and so forth. Color Box, all this stuff is on there. Laney Digbeth, Markbass Lil Mark III, Ampeg SGT, all this stuff is on there. So you can have access to literally all the amps and preamps I use simply by downloading the preset pack, the Bass Negus preset pack. Or if you interested in a particular preamp, you can buy that. And, you know, if you want the IRs, you got to wait a little bit because I'm still getting those packs together. But all right, let's go. So, matter of fact, here's my bass. Here's my bass without the preamps. All right, so let's turn on the preamp and IR, preamp and cabinet IR. Here's with just the preamp. And here's just my bass. Preamp. All right, and here's with the IR. So you really get that nice round, like actual bass amp sound versus if you, like I said, the way I did these, I did the preamp separate from the IR so I could get the most realistic preamp sound. You know, and that sounds exactly how the little Mark III sounds, Markbass little Mark III sounds. Then when you throw in that cabinet, the IR sounds exactly how that cabinet sounds like, and it's just and some of the harsher frequencies from just the regular, some of them harsher frequencies naturally get tamed by an actual cabinet. So I know you know, sometimes you guys have played and you be playing through your rig at a gig and the house sounds different, like your bass sounds extra bright, or you know, these are brand new strings, so they're going to be super bright. But that sounds different than your DI sound, you know. Or if you take out that, that's just my bass with nothing on it. It's completely different sound. So, you know, you like to have, going from venue to venue, I like to have consistent sound. You know, so if I, you know, I don't want to run DI straight out one time and then have it mic'd up the next time, and then next time they want me to run direct, and no, I like my sound to sound consistent, and I want that mic'd up cabinet sound. So that definitely does a perfect job of doing that for me. So, you know, definitely these are all available on the Patreon. These the entire preset list. All you do is grab it, download it, and all these will be available to you instantly. So, as well as if you want any of these preamp packs, there's a little a Markbass little Mark III pack on there as well. So check all that out. Don't forget. All right, let's move on. So now we got a, I'm gonna skip this one. That one is in there. It's a little extra, but it's actually this one. I need to take that off the list. But we'll start here. This is the regular SGT preamp, Ampeg SGT. So, and this is another IR that's available on here. It's the same cabinet, Fender Bassman Neo 115, but it's a CAD D10 mic and a condenser. No, that's a dynamic mic and a GXL 2200 condenser mic. Both of them on the speaker there. So, that's the sound with those two mics mixed together. And let's go. And again, like I said, once you get this pack and download them, you'll have in your tone, you go to tone models, you can switch out different preamps. Say I wanted to have the color box and that I just go up there and drag it in like that. Excuse me. But let's go back here. Let's turn off the IR cabinet and just the Ampeg SGT. And just for reference, here's my bass without the preamp. You can hear how well it captures the. Oof, they did such a great job with this modeling software and getting it to capture the qualities, like not just the quality, the amount of saturation, the soul of each brand's signature sound in a way. Like, I love the way it captured that SGT right there. It sounds great. So, bam, another setting there. All right, so here's the SGT. And again, like I said, I have all these set up to where all you got to do is do your tone shaping from your actual bass. Whether you have a passive bass or an active bass, it's going to sound good, and that's the way I design these in general. Whether I have my bass flat or I decide to do tone shaping, it's just going to naturally sound good as soon as I plug in. So. So this is the SGT, Ampeg SGT with the preamp and the actual SGT circuit on, which is emulating a B15, right? One of the most recorded amps ever. Beautiful sounding tube amp. So let's turn off this cabinet real quick. That's my bass with nothing on it. Here's with the SGT with the B15 circuit on. Actually, I love that. I love that by itself. But then you add it with the cabinet, and this is where you got options. Like I said, you can run that straight into your power amp or your power amp in, or your return of your effects loop on your bass amp, or you can run it straight to the front of the house. So, either way, it depends on how you like your bass to sound. You know what I'm saying? Like, you got plenty of options there. And don't forget you got EQ. And, with the new update, they also added modulation. So if you wanted to add some chorus to a sound, you could definitely do that. That's not even a problem. And you can have these before your amp or after your amp. So let's just do a little bit before. High depth, low rate. You can add delay. That's why I love this little pedal. Like for $179, you're not. It's the quality of the amp models, and then they added effects like modulations and 2 different types of delay in stereo. But yeah, you can do all types of, little stuff you need. And mind you, it's not a million delays, it's not a million modulations, but just the fact that they added this for free and they hadn't even originally planned on adding modulation and delay to the pedal is amazing. They could have just left it at the amp models and the noise gate, compressor, and reverb and EQ, and everybody would have been happy. But the fact that they went ahead and added some modulations, just, simple modulations, nothing crazy, but they give you 5 different ones on there, 2 delays with 2 different modes, so it's really like 4 delays. And then you also get a updated noise gate. I don't really use the noise gate, but, they upgraded the noise gate as well. So all this is just included with the pedal. You ain't got to buy, update, or nothing. It just comes with all this now, which is crazy because when it came out, it didn't have. But, all right, let's keep moving. Here is an Overdriven B15. You can use that for a ton of different stuff. And again, here's where my bass sounds like without the preamp. With the preamp, like that big overdriven Ampeg sound. And it's warm. Nice and warm. Like that's the thing that makes it hard to beat. It just sounds so good. Not only that, but then you can just hike up the game. Bring the bring the master volume back. Add even more. You can use this setting like a straight up overdrive pedal if you wanted to, you know. And it's going to give you everything you need. So plenty of options in there. All right. Here's the SVT side of the SGT circuit. So this is emulating a tube SVT. Here's just my bass. Here's with the preamp. All right, so next up we have the overdriven SVT sound. Let's go. without the IR. So as you can hear, it's much more of a slightly brighter than the Overdriven B15. That's the B15, and here's the SVT. Yeah. So both of them, either one of them can work in my bass by itself. But you add that preamp, you get that nice saturation in there. You add the cabinet in there. Get a nice big overdriven sound there. So, all right, we're getting down to the end, guys. Getting close. So here's the Harkey TX600. So that's with the Fender Bassman Neo 115 IR. But let's see what it sounds like with just the preamp. So that's my bass flat. With the preamp. And mind you, the Harkey TX600 has a tube preamp and with the IR. So now, you know, you can get the actual cabinet sound, you can have the actual preamp sound, all, and you can mix and match them however you would like to do that, you know. Next, you got up the Ultra Cream, which is, again, the Jingler Mellin preamp run into the JHS Color Box V2, into the Empress compressor, no compression, but just the tone and the color plus tone switch on. Run into a Fender Bassman 115 Neo. Without the cab. So you got options there, you know. You're not stuck at all. And I already had did the eating, but I'll just run through it real quick. Ooh. Let's go. So overall, I just literally really just love the ToneX and what they were able to do with it, especially the ToneX One and the amount of, or the lack of the amount of pedal board space that it takes up. Its pedal fits in the size of your palm. It gets you, it's a multi-effects unit and also has some of the best amp models, and you can make unlimited amp models, and you can go and get unlimited amp models from other people. Just the whole concept of this ToneX software and pedals, I love it. So definitely go to my Patreon, grab this bass preset, the Bass Negus preset pack for your ToneX on your computer or whatever, and you can use it as a plug-in in your DAW. You can use it live. You can use it in other people's studio. You can always have your sound consistent across bass amps if you want to always have your different preamp sounds or different heads. You want a variety of access to a variety of heads, bass heads and preamps versus just being stuck with one. Great option to go with. If you want to, really give a solid sound to the house that sounds like a cabinet and then just sound like your DI sound, definitely this pack is for you. Everything, like I said, you'll just be able to plug and play. You'll be able to EQ from just your bass and not have to really do too much. But if you want to go in and edit stuff, you can, of course. But you got to have the preamps and, in the first place, you got to have the tone models and presets in the first place to have all this stuff. So get the preset pack, or you can get any of the 11 preamp packs available for the ToneX series pedal on the Patreon. If you want to support the channel more, you can do that on the Patreon. If you want to leave a tip, Cash App works, as well as Venmo. I need to get my other ones up here. But yeah, follow me on all social media at the Bass Negus, Negus. If you want to check out my original music, go to allbasscreations.bandcamp, and you'll find all my original music there as well. So, and I did an album with entirely just my bass and effects, you know what I'm saying? So I didn't use any MIDI either. No MIDI, just bass and effects. Sounds like a full album. Sounds like it has drums and pads and everything else in there. So check that out over on allbasscreations.bandcamp. If you want any of my presets for the Zoom MS-60B Plus, for the Zoom MS-60B Plus or the Zoom B6, that's also, those packs are available on the Patreon as well. So check all this stuff out. Check me out on all the platforms, like I said, at the Bass Negus. And I'll be doing ambient afternoons where I just do more improvisation ambient music using just my bass and effects. That starts between 12 and 2. I do that about 4 to 5 times a week, but you got to subscribe, like, and share. Hit that like button before you go. I truly, truly appreciate y'all hanging in there. I know this was a long one, but but, but, you guys definitely, stuck in there with me on the different platforms, YouTube, Twitch, Instagram, and Facebook. I appreciate all of you guys. So I will catch you guys next time. Go to the Patreon, sign up, support the channel, as well as, grab your presets and stuff. So